The insurance regulator has set an ambitious target of insurance for all by 2047. But there is another target which the stakeholders of Indian insurance ecosystem have been setting for themselves each day, and that is awareness for all. On this Insurance Awareness Day, we are joined by an eminent panel to speak about the role of insurance in our lives and, more importantly, the role of awareness in insurance. Joining me today is Ritesh Kumar, co-chair, FICCI National Committee on Insurance, Bhargav Dasgupta, chairman, FICCI National Committee on Insurance, Prashant Tripathy, again co-chair, FICCI National Committee on Insurance, and finally, Prasun Sikdar, co-chair, FICCI Task Force on Health Insurance. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on CNBC TV18 today. To start with you, Bhargav, what I want to understand from you is about this target itself, insurance for all by 2047. In your understanding, is this aim for the moon and you'll reach the stars kind of situation, or do you think the industry, if it comes together, this target can actually be achieved?
Thanks, Yash. Thanks for having us. Whenever you want to achieve a transformational change, you have to set, what we call big, hairy, audacious goals, right? And I would classify this as one of those. What we are seeing the regulator do after talking about this ambitious goal is to look at looking at the building blocks to ensure that this happens. And we've seen a lot of reform, be it in terms of product, in terms of distribution, in terms of ease of doing insurance business, in terms of attracting capital, that we believe will, kind of push us in the direction of achieving this, objective of insurance for all. So no, I don't see this as aim for the moon and reach the stars. We are hoping that we will aim and achieve whatever it is that we are achieving as an industry.
Prashant, same question to you. If this has to happen, of course, life insurance industry also has to play a very important role. Ambitious goal, but according to you, achievable if the industry puts collective efforts?
Absolutely, I completely agree with what Bhargav said. Unless we have ambitious goals, how will we achieve? The good part is, for the first time, we have a goal that we all want to collectively achieve. Before this, there was no common vision, there was no common purpose. I think with the common vision being there, I think the industry along with the regulator will channelize all the efforts to ensure that we are collectively moving in that direction. And under the leadership of our chairman, IRDAI, this vision is acceptable. It's a challenging one, I must say, but at the same time, I don't think it's beyond the realm of achievability.
Prasun, coming to you on the same question, in your understanding, for the right assessment of the industry, what should be the order out of penetration, coverage and density?
Thanks, Yash, for inviting me. I think India as a country, as you know, is both uninsured as well as underinsured. So if you look at health insurance, close to 400 million people do not have any health insurance coverage or any retail health insurance. 300 million people are basically those who are not a part of any government funded schemes. And 10 million are those people who are, opting for more health insurance coverage. So around 400 million people is really the target health insurance segment. Add up to that the entire healthcare inflation, which has been higher than CPI over the last 5 years. Add to that the issue of India being the diabetic capital of the world. Add to that, and the recent study has shown that an average middle-class family has to spend 1 to 4 times of their annual income on cardiovascular diseases and 2 to 7 times of their annual income on any kind of cancer-related diseases. And both these two examples are good enough to show that that this can lead to a lot of distress and can push some people below the poverty line as well. So I think from all these points that I said, I think all these three are important, but obviously penetration is extremely important because India has only around 13 or 14% of the total population who has got some form of health insurance, either government funded or retail and all put together. So a large part of India is uninsured. So penetration is really number one, and obviously coverage and density are two very close number 2 and number 3, I would say, to ensure that we actually get the overall aim of insurance for all by 2047.
Prashant, since you're the only one from the life insurance industry here on the panel, what I want to understand from you is that as we move towards this target of insurance for all by 2047, for the life insurance sector, what, according to you, quickly would be those 3 to 4 low-hanging fruits that need to be addressed immediately for you guys to move ahead smoothly?
I think there are a few, and if you really look at the overall opportunity, I think we'll focus firstly on product and product innovation. I think that's quite required. Historically, the life insurance industry has been quite biased towards selling very large ticket size. I think it has to be customized to the needs of people. And number two, as much as possible, digitize. I think we have not been able to reach broader masses. Actually, the penetration is much lower. If you go down in the hierarchy of number of cities, and as you go lower and lower, that's quite low. And doing that completely on the basis of physical infrastructure, physical distribution is going to be extremely difficult. Leveraging the overall ecosystem and leveraging distribution partners who could come in the fold and help expand as soon as possible is the second one, or maybe third one that we could leverage.
Next one to you, Bhargav and Ritesh both. You have a lot of portfolios to look at, be it health, motor, accident, so on and so forth. Starting with you, Bhargav, in your understanding, what are those 3-4 portfolios where there are very evident low-hanging fruits which need to be addressed?
Just look at certain of the segments that you talked about. In motor, for example, roughly about 58% of the vehicles on the road drive without insurance. Now, there are two issues. One is the compliance, and that collectively, this is something that only insurance companies cannot do, but compliance and distribution, both are important. Compliance from the authority side, to ensure that compliance happens, and from the insurer side, ensure that the product is available and accessible. On health care side, Prashant talked about the numbers. Clearly, we need to figure out a way to address the affordability challenge when it comes to the missing middle. And when we talk about the healthcare inflation, Prashant talked about that, and the cost structure that we are seeing. I don't think as an insurance industry, we can build affordability if the healthcare cost is at that level that it is. So collectively, and this is something that we and the healthcare ecosystem needs to come together to figure out a way to create products where, for the missing middle and for the lower strata of income hierarchy, we find insurance solutions. Lastly, I think there is a tremendous amount of reform that we need on the distribution side. The regulator is taking the first step on the bank insurance side, but let's understand the most competent and expert advice that you can get when it comes to insurance at a retail level is from agents. And at this point in time, agents are allowed to sell only one company's products. And getting that channel to sell more could be a massive game changer.
Ritesh, same question to you. Bhargav spoke about compliance, which is very important. Of course, there were various reports talking about how let's not give fuel to vehicles which do not have a valid insurance policy, so on and so forth. How does one really monitor compliance in that on major portfolios, be it health, accident and motor?
The whole issue from a compliance standpoint is really something wherein we need help from the administration to ensure that, it is a menace if vehicles sort of fly on the road without insurance. Now this is a concern for the industry as well as for the authorities. Now we need to essentially sort of go out and find a way that we are able to ensure this. Not giving fuel to vehicles which are not insured is one amongst the various sort of possibilities which can be there. But I think what is important is that if we are to sort of really go out and achieve this, in fact, one of the things which has also been done is to offer long-term products around this. What obviously sort of does become very, very important, is that there have to be a number of measures which need to be taken, which are sort of could be centered around this entire issue of spreading awareness as to, how this is mandated by law and everybody needs to have an insurance, sort of around compliance, ensuring that we get the whole issue of the accessibility right. And Bhargav and sort of Prashant alluded to some of those things. And of course, eventually sort of address the entire issue of affordability, where to my mind, apart from the various things that we do, if we are able to sort of address this entire issue around fraud and abuse, that helps in to some extent, in sort of reducing the friction cost.
On that note, let's take a very short break. A lot more discussion coming up on the other side of this very, very short break. Gentlemen, what I want to understand from you, and starting with Prasun, is that the regulator has been focusing and very aggressively focusing on adding more companies, both on the life insurance, health insurance, as well as general insurance side. Prasun, in your understanding, does the Indian insurance ecosystem requires consolidation at this point of time for higher penetration and focused approach, or does it require more number of companies?
No, thanks, Yash. That's a very good question. You see, the penetration numbers of health insurance is all there for all of us to see. I think the country, according to me, can actually take more insurance companies because the penetration being so low. See, the fact of the matter is, since it's an awareness day for insurance, the viewers must know that the health insurance industry has paid more than 90,000 crores of claims, in the last financial year. During COVID times, although it was not priced for, the same industry has paid close to 30,000 crores of COVID claims. And health insurance is a living benefit product. In spite of that, I think whether awareness is there or not is something that, we still are grappling with, and we are spending as an industry more money to ensure that the consumers are aware of the relevance of health insurance. Because clearly health insurance zaruri hai. I always say that if mutual fund sahi hai, then health insurance zaruri hai, primarily because of the fact that, it takes care of three important things. Number one, it obviously gives you access to quality health care for a lifetime, because your health insurance never lapses. Number two, it protects your long-term financial goals. And number three, obviously, it helps you to remain more healthy. So given all this, and given that, as the health insurance penetration goes up, productivity of a country goes up, I would suggest that, this country can actually take care of more insurance companies.
Ritesh, in your understanding, more number of companies will drive this objective, or do you think we have enough number of companies and a focused approach is what will drive this objective?
I think, I agree with what Prasun has said. In an industry or in a nation of our size and the opportunity, there is always space for more people. And this does not by any means should be inferred as, obviously the existing players also need to sort of press the pedal, work on the innovation. But given the kind of opportunity which sort of exists to my mind, there is enough space for more players to come in.
Bhargav, do you really believe that making insurance products more economical would help increase sales of these insurance products? Do you agree with that thesis?
So Yash, it depends on the strata that you're talking about. And if you look at the income pyramid of the country, there is the base of that pyramid where affordability is a real challenge. And for that segment, the focus has to be in terms of making the product affordable. The debate about the pricing can happen at the higher end of the triangle of the pyramid, where adequacy of coverage. We talked about the fact that is adequacy and cover, is it important? So there, the adequacy of coverage is important. The pricing is important from a perspective of sustainability, from the insurance company's perspective. If you cut the price, in a manner that your underwriting is challenged, then you don't have any money to invest.
Prashant, do you agree with Bhargav on that?
So I will say yes, partially. The life insurance is a bit different. So in that context, I must share with you that if you were to really look at life insurance, a large part of life insurance has historically served the saving needs of Indians. While protection came as an add-on, whereas the basic purpose of life insurance is protection or sum assured.
Correct.
And as time passed over last one decade, we have seen companies increasingly focus on driving sum assured. But I think if you look at the coverage or penetration of protection in India is still very, very low. And when you talk about protection, I think that's where pricing becomes very important, and not just for the segment that currently is buying, but if you go lower, I think pricing appropriately so that it becomes affordable for people to buy it and adequately cover themselves is a very relevant subject on which life insurance companies must focus.
How much of a problem is, let's say, an 18% GST becoming for life insurance companies on a product like protection, term life insurance?
It is. I mean, it has been one of the advocacy subjects we have been going again and again, because protection is a very basic need, and it must reach everybody in India. Actually, insurance for all, the vision actually is predicated on selling more protection, not selling more savings. And in that context, relief on GST is definitely a very welcome step.
Bhargav, to you, higher taxation on something like basic health insurance coverage, a big issue which needs to be looked at?
I think so. I think, these are not products that are, luxury goods by any stretch of imagination. These are basic requirements. And if you look at global benchmark, an 18% for insurance is inordinately high.
Ritesh, since we're talking about pricing, I want to understand from you, both Bhargav, Prashant believe that some sections of society, it does help in terms of sales if the products are economical. What I want to understand from you, what has so far held insurance companies back from increasing their direct sales, continues to do even today?
We need to sort of have a omni sort of channel view. An insurance company needs to be present wherever a customer wants us to be. So, direct is one of the ways. I think on different products also, this is something which varies. History seems to have shown that on products like life insurance, on products like health insurance, these are really advisory-based products, and therefore there is a greater need for advisory there. There is a larger trend that the direct sales sort of are on the increase, sort of at a general level, both sort of manual and online. But I think to go out and say that there is one specific channel which sort of grows more at the cost of the others, I do not think sort of is really the way things would pan out in the future.
Sometime back, there were reports about how the regulators may be looking at making agents put down the commission rates that they get on the insurance policy itself. In your understanding, is it a good step? It's not a good step in terms of transparency to a policyholder?
No, Yash, according to me, transparency is always good. I don't think, we can say that transparency is a problem. And I understand one thing, that this is a very noble profession, because once, an agent or a distributor has been able to sell a health insurance or a protection cover to a customer, he's obviously changed his life, right? Tomorrow, he, from a financial protection perspective, is totally covered. So from that perspective, I don't see any reason why, even if the commissions are basically put up transparently on the policy certificate, and the customer actually understands and appreciates the effort that the distributor is putting in, there is any harm in that particular matter.
Okay, fair point. Bhargav, one question to you. In your understanding, with respect to distribution, do you think there is an over-dependence on insurance aggregators, which is why the commission rates to these aggregators are very high, and that is in fact coming in the way of making insurance products more economical? Do you have this? Do you agree with this statement?
Look, I think what we have to think about, if you really want to achieve this insurance for all and increase penetration, is add more fresh distributors, which means new agents who are new to the industry, new to the market. Not look at taking existing distributors and adding a layer on top of it. So wherever an insurance aggregator or an insurance distributor is adding value to the economy and to the industry in terms of adding new distribution channels, I think that's positive for all concerned. Wherever an insurance aggregator is just aggregating existing agents and adding a layer of cost to it, I don't think it really serves its purpose.
Prashant, to you, of course, the latest two initiatives from the insurance regulator, Bima Vahak and Bima Vistar, in your understanding, are these two very important elements which will help the industry achieve A, coverage, and second part, really touching the lives of people who've been away from insurance for all these years? Do you think these two elements have the potential to achieve both these targets?
Absolutely, yes. And let me throw some data points. Actually, if you look at the insurance premium that India has, that's about 1.5% of global premium. But if you look at the population, that's about 20%. So why is that so? And that's because a very large part of India, which lives in rural areas, which is about 90 crores, are more or less untouched by the offerings that life insurance or insurance industries have to offer. And the reason why it has not happened is because of two reasons. One, the economic prosperity, which talks to the affordability angle. And the second one is accessibility, the ability to reach out to these broader masses on an economic basis or economically, possible way. And those two are the solves. The Bima Wahak and Bima Vistar are the solves for those two things. So what is Bima Vistar? Bima Vistar is a product which actually talks to the needs and in a very modular way tries to respond to affordability angle in a very, very effective manner. And Bima Vistar actually is the solve for economically reaching out to those broader masses at a village level, at a panchayat level, so that we are able to address the needs of all the people. Having said that, I think the prerequisite for this to be successful is definitely a lot of action that must go towards creating awareness.
Let's wrap up this discussion with one new initiative which the regulator refers to as the UPI movement for the Indian insurance industry. Prasun, Bima Sugam, in one word, what is that one thing which Bima Sugam aims to achieve and will achieve?
I think one word is trust.
Prashant, to you?
Comparability.
Okay. Ritesh?
Transparency.
Okay. Bhargav, final word to you. Bima Sugam, what is that one word that you associate it with?
I want to go as the fourth, but I'll add convenience.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for speaking to us. With that, it's a wrap on this insurance special. Thank you so much for watching this special show.